It would seem as though.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
No, it's too much. It's just too much.
Thank you. I like how it just stops all of a sudden.
Right.
Oh, done.
Oh, I'm done clapping
Yeah.
for you.
But-
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to another episode of It Would Seem As Though, the podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing.
And mostly nothing.
You know.
Today, something.
Yeah.
Well, we always
Something.
talk about something, but does it mean anything?
No. Not
But-
really. I mean, it's just us flapping our lips and people listening, hopefully.
Yeah, good. That's all I care about. But today we're talking about, because it's Hispanic Heritage Month, right?
Yes.
We're talking about notable, influential, amazing Hispanic people.
Yes, we are. I'm Vesta.
Me too.
We're both Vesta today?
Yeah, me too. Oh.
That's too much Vesta for one world.
Listen, tell me about it. I know. I'm Annika. I'm just real tired. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm just
no, I
worn
know.
out. I don't have a personality today. My personality is sleep time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She needs a nap.
I do, and it's only 8:30. So
Hey, since it is Hispanic Heritage Month,
Yeah.
I wanted to start by saying what that means. Because
Okay.
there I'm sure are people who are like, well, who exactly falls under that umbrella?
did you
So,
look it up?
I did,
Okay,
just to
okay.
make sure I had it right. 'cause
Between
I'm-
like Latino, Hispanic, and
So Cuban, Mexican, Puerto Rican, South or Central America, or other Spanish culture or origin, regardless of race.
yeah, right. So it's Hispanic technically means native Spanish speaker.
Yeah.
So it could be Spain, and it could be anywhere in like Central to South America,
Right.
for the most part.
Right.
But and then there's like a difference between Hispanic and Latino, and but that's a lot. That's a lot more.
Right.
So we're
this
just
this is an umbrella term in this case that covers
Yeah.
everybody
Love
in
that.
that group, so that they're getting some attention, some love, some
Attention.
shout outs, whatever.
what attention whores.
I know. Well, so other than being tired, how was your week?
It was great. What did I do? We made dinner on Thursday. Parker slept
Yeah.
over on Friday.
Yeah.
You know what's really cute is he actually, because when your kids sleep over, they are like, it is 7:30. I should be brushing my teeth. At 8, I need to take my melatonin at 8. Like, is it okay if I'm watching TV? Like, yes, all of these things are fine. But it's usually your daughter who's like, TikTok, I'm on a schedule. And
right.
like, bitch, what? You don't have to go to sleep right now. You
It's
don't.
a sleepover. No
Yeah.
one sleeps at a sleepover.
I don't think they understand the concept, so I'm like, whatever. But Parker did. I let him play, like, we watched something and then played video games, and he stayed up until 2 in the morning.
That's what he said.
He stayed until 2 in the morning playing video games, and then when I was going to bed, he was, because I went to bed 9, later than normal, but like
Right.
normal, right? And I said, he's like, so can I watch TV when I'm done playing video games? I was like, you can do whatever you want. Like, it's fine. Yeah, you can watch
Yeah.
TV, you can play video games all night. Like, I don't care.
As long as you're A, not noisy, and B, inside the house.
That's it. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. And if you open the door, dogs will bark, so I'll know you left. Don't do
Yeah.
it. But yeah, I got up a couple times to go to the bathroom or whatever, and he's just out there having a good time. And then I woke up again, pretty normal time.
Yeah.
So did Gavin, and Gavin wakes up crack of dawnish, so he's
Yes.
just in bed on his phone, like because he doesn't want to go and wake up Parker. But I went up and I was all, good morning, and it's like 7. He's been asleep for 5 hours. I'm all, sorry.
Yeah, he is
Sorry,
not
okay.
used to that because we keep a pretty strict bedtime.
Yeah.
I mean, within a range of time, right? So, like on a school night, bedtime is 8 o'clock, which means they go upstairs at 8 and then take their
Pills.
melatonin and their
Yeah.
fluoride, and then we read and
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So they're probably lights off closer to 9.
Sure. But like, what during the summer? Is it still 8:30?
Yeah.
Like, that's so funny to me because during the summer I had no bedtime. During weekends I had no
Yeah.
bedtime. I was up doing whatever I wanted. You know what I mean? As much as
Sure.
there was to
Same.
do. Mhm.
Same. But one of the things I learned doing parenting classes was that teenagers need more sleep than anyone.
Yep.
Because their bodies are growing and changing, and their bodies
Yeah.
are like trying to do all that while they sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So the more sleep they get, the better teenager you will have. Otherwise, you
Here's
have
to
a
hoping.
grumpy, horrible teenager.
I've met your daughter.
No, well, I think no amount of sleep is going to take care of that.
I'm also a grumpy teenager, so
yeah.
In my heart, I'm just constantly grumpy.
Well,
one thing that used to bother me so much as a kid is, on a weekend or in summer, because those were the times when I could, like, sleep in. Like, you sleep until, like, 11 and you're all, oh, that's early, right? I woke up at 11 in the morning. That's still morning. Now I could never do that. Now I wake up at, like, 6:30 and I'm all, it's time to wake up. Yesterday I slept until 8 and I was all, what? Like, panicked.
I've slept the day away.
I know.
Oh my god.
But I used to hate it when people would wake me up. Like, when I was a teenager or younger and sleeping, and I would sleep until whatever. Why are you waking me up? I'm obviously sleepy. Let me go
Because
sleep.
not everybody woke you up as gently and peacefully and lovingly as I did.
Right, because what you did is gentle. And I think what you did is child abuse. More like
Maybe.
It's child
I think that the
abuse.
statute of limitations has probably run out, so you can't report me now for abusing you.
No, but I should, because you woke me up playing drums.
Yeah, I sure did. So, just so you know, I'm much gentler about how I wake up my children.
Well, it's also, I would get it. I've also met Parker, and I feel like if you make Parker mad...
that is not a good way to start your day.
No. So I understand. You probably learned your lesson, because I was horrible when you woke me up. No. But when you woke up singing, forget your troubles, come on, get happy, playing the drums horribly...
With no particular rhythm in mind.
Whatever drum was in front of you, and whatever implement you had in your hand to make the drum make noise...
Yeah.
You used, like, the handle of scissors.
Barbie,
yeah. And I remember being like...
wooden spoon.
In the family room, because that's where I slept. I was like, shut the fuck up. And then I'd be grumpy, and then I'd be all... That's better to be woken up this way than, like... most times I've been woken up in my life. But yeah.
The kids are... their alarm clock is actually an Alexa. Mm-hmm. And so you get to pick, like, what you want to wake you up. And so for the last whole school year, it was this horrible sound from... Hotel Transylvania, where it's somebody, and I don't remember which character it is, singing at the top of their lungs.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what they're singing. It's like, but it's loud.
Yeah.
And I could hear it down here.
And they don't.
And sometimes it would go off for quite a while before I was like, because I would push the little button that makes it so they can't just tell it to stop. They have to get up and stop it.
Yeah.
Because I know my daughter, she would just go, Alexa, stop, and then go back to sleep.
Well, during the school year or school days, do you go up and get them now? Like, or do they get up on their own?
No. Because I did when they were younger, but now they're old enough. It's just their clock wakes them up in there.
Well, but I know Grace is like hating it and dragging in the morning.
Well, I also changed that because I had her getting up at 6:30, and then we had to be out of here at 7:15, which is only 45 minutes to eat breakfast and get ready, and that was too much. So we moved it back 15 minutes. And now they seem to have lux time. Like, they sit around, do whatever. I was like, how did that 15 minutes make such a difference?
Wow. That's crazy to me. Yeah.
But now they're ready on time. And,
of course they are.
I'm not screaming like a crazy person, so that's good.
Yeah. But, you know what? When I feel like that is the most frustrating thing, though, is to the point where, not you, but, like, you in general, adult, is, like, getting to the point of being like, listen to me, you know what I mean? And the kids all... filing their nails, looking you dead in the eye, rolling them. Like, that, to me, makes me want to snap necks, So I couldn't...
Well, and with Grace, it literally is she'll be sitting here at the table. She will have finished her breakfast.
Taking bites of her little one gummy.
Right. But she'll be like, I'll say, get up and go brush your teeth. And she just, like, looks out into space like, I know something was said to me.
Yeah.
I think I got a direction.
I heard something.
Yeah, I don't know, but then I saw a squirrel.
Yeah.
Ooh, a leaf moved.
Or she didn't.
Look at that, the sun came out.
My favorite is when she's trying to find something to distract her. You've asked her to do something and she's like, but did you see that there's pens right here? Like, bitch, yes, we all see things. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah, she's...
Oh my god. So today,
silly.
She wore... Everybody has, well, except for my husband because he would die, those blanket coats. The ones, the big fleecy ones that you pull over, like you got one.
Yeah.
Well, she was like, I'm going to wear my blanket coat to school today.
Oh my god, girl.
So it is on her, it's a knee-length pullover hoodie that is fleece-lined. And so
it's
they're
a blanket.
about 1,000 degrees.
Yeah, it's so warm.
And so she calls it her blanket coat because she was cold yesterday. And I was like, you will die in class wearing that damn thing.
Girl, considering...
Plus it looks like you're in your pajamas.
Or that's all you're wearing. Considering your daughter wears t-shirts and basketball shorts year-round...
Yeah.
Her wearing a full-on parka made of fleece to school.
Right.
She's gonna be a sweaty mess.
Yeah.
You know, but...
Yeah. And I was like, you're gonna be too hot. No, I won't. I'm so cold. I need to wear this. I was like, all right.
No, I'm just a little baby and I'm freezing, Mom.
So we're on the way to school and she goes, you know, everybody's gonna want to hug me in this. You go, are they? Mm-hmm. And no, first she said, everybody wants to hug me in this. I go,
do
what?
they?
And she goes, well, when they see me, they're going to want to. And I go,
are they?
Okay. We haven't even got you to school yet, and you're already like predicting.
Let me tell you
how
what
everyone's going to react to.
Yeah.
You're cool. Ugh.
I know. I mean, I love it. The first one I ever wore, though, was yours.
Yes.
Because it was so cold, and you're like, well, there's this in my closet. So I went and got it, and yours is leopard print, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Mine's like dark blue. Grace's is pink? Or no, black.
Light blue. Parker's is black.
Yeah, I remember seeing Parker's and being like, I have a navy one. Give me that black one. I can't believe I have one that's in color. The brightest color.
On purpose.
Yeah. It was a gift. After I saw yours, someone bought me.
That was very nice.
I know, but it wasn't in black, and so they don't know me. You know what I mean?
Right. I do know.
It's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyhow, so listen, one of the things that I think most white people get wrong about Hispanic heritage is Cinco de Mayo. Most white people have no clue. No. They think it's just a drinking holiday.
Well, I would even push it further than just white people. I'd say Americans in general don't know what they're talking. Like, I think Latino and Hispanic Americans know that it's not Independence Day.
Right.
But I don't think any other American does. Do you know what I mean?
That's probably fair because most people I've heard refer to it as Mexican Independence Day. It is not that. So I'm going to give you just a little tiny history on Cinco de Mayo.
Before you say it, was it the Battle of Puebla? Was that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Battle of Puebla. Mexico's victory over the Second French Empire at the Battle of Puebla in 1862, led by General Ignacio Zaragoza.
Love him.
Yeah. So it was one specific battle.
Yeah, one region.
Yeah.
One little region of Mexico.
So it wasn't all of Mexico, but it was a pretty big deal.
And it's a part of their history, sure, but it's not like the, American, what is it? Not the Civil War. American Revolution. That's something. It's not that. It wasn't that for Mexico. No. They were just fighting off colonizers.
One thing that's funny to me is that Americans make, like, it's a big deal. Like, people who are not Jewish make Hanukkah a big deal. Hanukkah is not even a major holiday in Jewish religion.
Wow. I didn't know that.
No. It's
Passover?
It's like this cute little, Passover's huge.
Interesting.
What's the other one? Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah.
There's a couple that are actually their big holidays. But, that's not one of them.
Not Hanukkah.
But most people think, Hanukkah, that's Christmas times 8. It's like, no, it really isn't.
Well, and the only people who get, like, during the holiday season, and you say Happy Holidays, and Christians are all, you mean Merry Christmas, whatever. And then trying to be inclusive and adding more Hanukkah stuff, which is, like, great, right? But I've never heard a Jewish person ever say, God, I wish there was more Hanukkah stuff. You know what I mean?
No.
I feel like it's people like me who would be like, oh, so we're going to celebrate Christmas, so now I'm going to make sure that there is cultural diversity when it comes to celebrations, right? Like, I'll help you find Kwanzaa stuff, whatever it is. But that would be more of, like, a my issue.
Well, there's so many holidays in the winter.
Yeah.
That Happy Holidays actually fits better because it's like, you're not saying I'm going to start your list. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Eid, Happy,
Yule.
Solstice, whatever.
Happy
it's all something. So just saying Happy Holidays, much better. Just the blanket covers everything.
But it is so funny to me that people are so bent out of shape about it. Like,
but I feel the same way either way. If someone says Merry Christmas to you, and you get offended because, like, why don't celebrate Christmas? Yeah. Someone's just wishing you something nice.
Yeah, that's agreed. Agreed with you.
And it's like, you can not celebrate Christmas. No one really cares.
No, people are just wishing you a happy time, essentially, during this holiday season. Who cares what they say to you? If someone said to me, Happy Hanukkah, I'd be all, Happy Hanukkah, right? I wouldn't be like, excuse me, I celebrate the one of Christ with Christmas, or whatever, know?
Right.
It's so weird to me.
I know, the whole thing... But it's all that, everything has to be so compartmentalized of, well, I only do this, and I'm only going to talk about this, and it's like, Calm down,
Girl,
Betty.
I feel like we could have a whole month worth of these podcasts where we talk about how Americans compartmentalize everything. How everything is categorized, everything needs to be categorized, or it's like evil and demented and needs to be like eradicated. Right. It is crazy to me. But from everything, from like gender to race to holidays, like everything, we're like, put it in a box. It doesn't fit in the box, burn it down. Yeah.
So Grace's friend, spent the other night, and she was telling me, she said something about her, that she has gay friends, and she supports her gay friends even though her family does not. And I was like, what do you mean? And she goes, well, we follow God's law. And I was like, which is what? Mm-hmm. Well, that homosexuality is against God's law. And I said, just FYI, I said, nowhere in the Bible does it say that. Mm-hmm. I said, it does now with the newest interpretations, but in the original, it didn't say anything about that. It didn't say, because people now translate it as man should not lie with man, but the original translation was man should not lie with boy, meaning, pedophilia, no bad, and...
Bitch, and I know the history of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to, and it was like, I realize that you're not the one making these choices. It's your parents and grandparents who, whatever. It's like, it's so exhausting.
It is. And it's just like, I feel like the people like that, not her specific, but her family or families like that, just like, they just thrive in being miserable. You know what I mean? Like, you hate a group or dislike, don't support whatever, a group of people because of allegedly what it says in your Bible. But clearly you've never read the entirety of the Bible because it doesn't say that, right? But now that's part of your personality.
But it also says you're supposed to love everyone.
Right. But what are we reading though? The Old Testament or the New Testament? Honey?
Right.
Yeah,
well, the Old Testament is an eye for an eye kind of stuff. The New Testament is all feel good, kumbaya, love
your neighbor,
which the Old Testament.
The poor,
and when I found out from one of my Jewish customers that the New Testament is not a part of the doctrine in Jewish faith.
Yeah.
They don't believe Jesus was the Son of God. They don't believe in heaven or hell. I was like, wow.
Yeah, right.
That's amazing.
Well, and it's the same thing as in Islam. They believe Jesus was like, an important man, an important historical figure, but they don't believe he was a prophet. Or maybe he was a prophet, but he wasn't the prophet. Right. And I think that's fucking fascinating. Because for us, and a lot of Americans, you're raised with Christianity. No matter what that denomination is, you're raised with a Christianity often. And so we learn about Christ, and you learn about how he said, he died, and we all are forgiven of our sins, or what the fuck ever. But then to learn that there's religions that are like, he was a man, or maybe he was a prophet.
He was a good man.
He was like a teaching man, but he wasn't the Son of God, right? That shit's crazy to me. Okay, wait. The other day, after Parker slept over, and he came over here, and it was before Grace and her friend were downstairs. And he was like, oh, now I have to re-smell my bed because her friend...
so funny.
I was like, bitch, I have to go re-smell my house right now. It's funny, when I got back, Gavin had sprayed air freshener. I was like, yes, girl. But when I came over later to get a package, Parker's sitting where you are, Grace is eating here, and Ash sitting on the couch over there just looking over here. And I said, hi. And then Parker was like, this is our sister Annika. I did not know that's who that was, because from the door to there, I was like, who's that middle-aged woman sitting on the couch?
Oh, God.
She does not look 14
she
to
does
me.
Not. Close up, she looks 14.
Okay, from a distance, I was all, this your girlfriend? And when Grace was at my house not that long ago, she was telling Gavin and I that, I don't see her at school because she works DoorDash with her mom. And I said, are you dating an adult woman? I am so confused.
Yeah. She doesn't see her at school because their programs are in completely different parts of the school.
That's why. So she goes to school.
Yes. Yes, she does.
Okay.
But she's in the north side of the building, and Grace is in the south side of the building.
Copy.
And that building's as big as a small city. So
yeah.
So I could see how you'd never see people.
Mm-hmm. But I was shooketh. I was like, wow. I didn't know what I expected. I don't know what high schoolers look like anymore, but I was like, she's a grown-up.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she's a
What's funny to me is the variety. They're little teeny tiny kids up to full-grown people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today when I took Parker to school, and he's 7th grade, so, middle school, 6, 7, 8. I saw kids going to that school, and I'm like, are you maybe 10, 9? You're tiny.
Yeah.
And then people, like my son with a mustache, and then people who are, I've seen girls who are fully developed and look like grown women.
When I remember picking up Parker and Grace at their old middle school.
Yeah.
And there would be girls who walked by that I was like, are you picking up your child? Like,
Right.
You have a D cup and a full face of makeup and lashes and extensions and nail. Like, what is happening? This is very different from when I was a child.
It is very different.
Yeah.
I mean, because the only person I remember in your school who was like that was
Anna Nicole Smith. Yeah, because I went to school with Anna Nicole Smith, or someone who just looked a lot like her.
Well, with her false eyelashes and her
fake and baked
nails.
tan, her acrylic nails, her huge blonde hair. And that bitch is like part Native American. Her hair is traditionally like black.
So her hair didn't want to be blonde.
No, I said no, bitch. But she was an
there it was.
Yeah, but she was an only child.
But I remember at your 8th grade graduation, just looking at her and thinking, did someone put a teacher in with the kids?
Right. Well, I'm wearing like army green bondage pants and like just a t-shirt, and she's wearing like a full-on fucking gown with like bumped up hair and her lashes and a tan and a full face of makeup. Some of us looked like children. She looked like our principal.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Oy, oy, oy.
I know, what a time. Oh, to be young.
Well,
Now I'm old as fuck.
you sure are.
I know.
All right. So one of the things I looked up that I thought was fun
Tell me.
was 50 celebrities you didn't know were Latino.
Let's see if I
Now,
don't know.
I'm going to tell you, most of them, I was like, of course I knew.
Okay, cool.
But the very first one, and then my husband shamed me for not knowing, and I'll tell you why.
I can't wait.
Because the very first one on the list is Cameron Diaz.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm all, Cameron Diaz?
White girl.
She is white as snow.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, but her last name is Diaz. And I says, so is Annika.
I know, so is mine, bitch. But I mean,
But it was like, Cameron Diaz, I mean, she is Cuban.
yeah. I knew she was like
I did not know.
Latina, yeah.
But most of these people, I'm like,
Duh.
Jessica Alba.
Duh.
I knew she was not white.
Yeah.
You know, she is Mexican, of Mexican descent.
Okay.
I didn't know this one, Bruno Mars. I just assumed he was black.
Agreed. I think agreed, yeah. I think he was mixed of sorts, but I don't think he was white at all.
Right.
I think he was like black Cuban or black Puerto
his
Rican.
government name is Peter Gene Hernandez. That would have been a dead giveaway.
Peter Gene? PJ Hernandez?
PG.
PG? Oh, it's
Yeah.
Gene, right?
He's Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
Puerto Rican?
Oscar Isaac.
He is so good looking.
He is good looking.
Yeah.
But he also...
Yeah,
looks
obviously.
Hispanic. Christina Aguilera.
What? With a last name like Aguilera?
I was like, what? How could she be
Arugula?
Hispanic?
Ex-Tina?
Yeah.
Considering
She's of Ecuadorian descent on her father's side.
Oh.
Because her mama, white.
I didn't know it was Ecuadorian.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I didn't either. Well, a lot of these, like Ryan Lochte, swimmer.
Oh, uh-huh.
Olympic swimmer who caused all kinds of trouble at the Olympics.
Oh, in Rio?
Where was it? It was...
Is that where he, like, got in a bar fight or did something weird?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
He is Cuban.
Wait, who did you say before him?
Christina.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Now this one I was like, who doesn't know Charlie Sheen? Because his dad...
Yeah.
And his brother, Emilio Estevez, kind of a dead giveaway.
I don't know, but I mean, do people like my generation know that they're related?
I don't know.
You know they look similar, right? But like, would you know that?
What's funny to me is I don't think they look much like each other, but they both look like their dad.
So
if you put one by the dad, you're like, oh, I see that. But the other, but you put them by each other, and I don't see that.
Okay.
It's so crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's probably
Who's
just
their
me.
mom?
Some white lady. I don't know.
Wait, because their dad is Martin Sheen?
Yeah.
Is he a white man? Really?
No, he's...
Do you know what's so funny to me? Because in Frank and Grace, yep, he plays...
Grace and Frankie.
That's it. He plays, like, an Irish Catholic.
Yes.
Which is his... Again, I was like, I see it.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I thought.
Absolutely. Your girl, Aubrey Plaza.
I knew that.
I did not, but also Puerto Rican.
I knew that because in Parks and Rec, they touch on it a lot.
Demi Lovato. Which... Really, who's surprised?
No. I'm going to go back for a second. Christina Arugula.
Hang on, just 1 second.
Yeah.
So Demi Lovato's government name is Demetria Devon Lovato, and she's Mexican.
Same.
Yeah.
That's my
Anyway,
family
what
as well.
about Christina Arugula?
There is in one of her songs, she says something about being Boricua, which means to be of Puerto Rican descent. That's why I was like, oh, what'd you say, Honduran? Ecuadorian? Yeah. That's so interesting. So maybe she's a liar and a whore, so that's just a potential.
Snooki.
Snooki.
Yeah, she's born in Chile and was later adopted by Italian-American parents. So most people just assume she was Italian.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Snooki.
Leah Michelle. No idea.
Huh.
She is of Spanish, Sephardic Jewish descent.
I think I knew she was Jewish.
Well, I knew she was Jewish, but I didn't know that
she was Latina. I knew she was not white. That's what I knew.
Now this goes way back, and so if you have to be old like me to even know who this is, Rita Hayworth.
Okay.
She was big film star in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Big red hair, gorgeous. Spanish on her father's side. Alexis Bledel.
Wait, didn't she change her last name to Hayworth?
Yes. Yeah. From the Gilmore Girls and Handmaid's Tale is Mexican and Argentinian.
Alexis Bledel?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wait, she's Mexican and Argentinian?
Yeah.
Damn. She a white girl, I thought.
No, apparently not. Now, this one surprised me too.
Okay.
Nicole Richie.
Oh.
I just assumed she was...
Lionel Richie's daughter.
Well, I knew that Lionel Richie adopted her. Mm-hmm. But I assumed, because I've heard her talk about being black, but that she gets grief because she's so fair-skinned.
So fair, yeah.
Yeah. But she is also of Mexican descent on her biological father's side.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Go figure. Sammy Davis Jr. Do you know who he is?
I know who he is, yeah.
I just always assume black man.
Yeah. He's not?
He is, but he's also Cuban.
Okay.
But he hid his Cuban descent because of the anti-Cuban backlash at that time.
Yep.
Yeah, which I was like, oh.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
Maxwell, the R&B singer, is Haitian and Puerto Rican.
Wow.
Louis C.K.
Louis C.K.?
Who is white and a redhead. Yes.
Is what?
Well, he is often considered Irish thanks to his red hair, but he's only half Irish. His dad is Mexican.
I had no idea. He's also a pig of a human.
He is a pig of a human.
Yeah.
But it's like, now Anthony Quinn, again, you have to be old like me to know who he was. He played, who was he on Batman? The Joker? On the TV show? Back in the 60s?
Oh, gee, like with
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm talking about.
But I always assumed that he was Greek.
Oh.
Because of some of the things in his later life, but he is Mexican.
Wow, I didn't know.
And I don't know who this person is. James Roday, the psych actor, who was born James David Rodriguez, is Mexican.
Okay.
Here's one that'll blow your mind.
I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah.
Vanna White.
What?
Vanna White.
Wait. She is? What is she? What are you, Vanna?
She's Puerto Rican.
Wow, I love that. Good for her.
She was adopted by a white person, but she's Puerto Rican.
How silly.
Chris Weitz from
What are these
About a
people
Boy.
With white is their last name being not white. Well, I guess. Remember, our indigenous family, half their last name was changed to white.
Yeah.
Awful.
Now, this one I always knew. Raquel Welch.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. She's Spanish Bolivian descent.
Okay.
Dave Navarro. Not surprised. I kind of figured.
I mean, yeah.
Right. Mexican. David Blaine, the magician. I almost said the musician. No, he's a magician. Puerto Rican.
Right.
Frankie Muniz from, what was that show?
Malcolm in the Middle.
Malcolm in the Middle. Puerto Rican.
I would assume with the last name Muniz.
Kat Von D.
I knew that.
Argentinian and Spanish.
She's also a bad person.
She's a bad person? Oh, no.
She's an anti-vaxxer, and she dated a neo-Nazi, and there's a picture of... She's with somebody, and they're holding, like, the Nazi flag with the swastika, and she's all, like, thumbs up about it. This was, like, years ago, too, but she lost a lot of fame and, like, following because she is a pig.
Well, that's disappointing.
Her husband, he's part of this band, this duo called Prayers, and they're cholo goth, so they're Mexican-American goth music. And I knew of them before they got married. before Kat Von D married him. And I loved them, and then he married her, and I said, son of a bitch. And I loved Kat Von D.
I remember.
I was obsessed.
We used to watch her little
and
show.
And when I lived in LA, I remember like driving past her studio being like, you know, like, yeah, sometimes, but like,
right.
You know, then I learned she was like a huge bad person. So I said, ew, you're gross.
David Gallagher from Seventh Heaven. I don't know.
Is that the dad?
No, it's one of the kids. Cuban. Reggie Jackson. Again, always assumed he was black. Baseball player. Whatever. He was Hall of Fame in 93, so you were 4.
Yeah.
Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
So he was born Ramon Gerard Antonio Estevez.
Oh, so...
Little.
So he's a little flavor.
Tiny bit Spanish.
Wow.
Right. I love that. Diana Taurasi. She is a basketball player. I don't know her. I don't know any.
I don't know her.
I don't know her. Marina Baccarin. I don't know how you say her name. She's from Deadpool and Firefly. She is from Brazil.
Brazil.
Now, I don't know what I know this little white girl from, but her name is Sarah Paxton.
Wait. Paxton?
Her, that little white girl.
You know her from a lot of things. She's been in a lot of things.
I know she's familiar,
Yeah.
but she's Mexican.
No, she isn't.
Khalees.
Like my milkshake brings all the boys
Puerto Rican.
Oh my gosh.
Andrew Keegan from Party of Five and Seventh Heaven.
I don't know any
this
of
guy.
Those. Oh, I know him.
Yeah, I knew you knew him. Colombian. Alex Meneses. I don't. It's just his actor. I have no idea who she is. Some of these people, I'm not surprised they're Hispanic because I don't know who they are.
Because who the hell are they?
Right. Because I'm looking at these people going, Carmelo Anthony, the basketball player, Puerto Rican. Mm-hmm. And then there's some people that are so old. People, no. Bella Thorne.
Oh, Bella Thorne, I knew that.
She pasty white redhead.
I want you to know that Gavin is rewatching, or he's watching American Horror Stories, which are the individual episodes that are just like a one-off, right? And Bella Thorne is in one of them. And the one she's in is like, you know, the traditional story where someone, maybe you don't know it, but someone's like chasing you in a car, tailing you, and they're like flashing their lights at you and whatever, and you're like, oh my god, they're gonna kill me. But this guy was like flashing his lights, being like, there's someone in your back seat, they're gonna kill you. Oh. But the reverse of that is Bella Thorne was the murderer. So she was taking the dead body with her, whatever. But Bella Thorne, I'm watching it and I'm like, is this bitch an animatronic? Like, why does she act like this? Like, it just seems like she's acting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's because your acting shouldn't feel like acting.
No, it shouldn't look like. Girl, did they just put robot parts in you from the local Chuck E. Cheese? And they were like, hey, now you're a murderess. And she's all, danger. Where's my knife? Like, it was just so bad.
I don't know that I've actually seen her in anything, but I know who she is.
Yeah. Well, I'll take you right down to the local Chuck Cheese. They probably still have
They're closed.
But do you think they have animatronics left inside?
Maybe. Then it turns into like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh.
Right?
No, thank you. That's scary, girl.
I know.
That's
well, you know, that movie's coming out, and Parker's all about it. He's like, I want to go see Five Nights at Freddy's. And I'm like, I don't know who you're going to go with. It ain't going to be me. Mm. You know, murderous animatronics that come to life and, you know, kill people.
I'm just concerned that your son seeing scary stuff is going to, like, traumatize him. Because I know that he's seeing scarier and scarier things, but, like, he's delicate.
He is delicate.
And, like, there, you know,
like me.
Within the last year, during a sleepover, I was like, let's watch Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. But that's too scary. But now they've seen it with Papa Man, but during the day. So every time we go, he just wants to watch something, he wants to watch something scary, so then we find a bunch of scary things, and he's like, no, I can't watch any of this. So we end up watching, like, Goosebumps, right?
Sure.
The newer ones. Like, we should watch the old show, but we watched the new movies with Jack Black and all that. And he has seen them. Number of times. I've seen them with him a number of times. And every time he gets scared, which is hysterical to me. Because you know what's going to happen. Like, it's so funny to me that I'm like, funny. You knew that was going to pop up.
When he was little, and I can't remember which movie it was, we went to see one of the Disney films. And, you know, animated Disney.
Yeah.
And so I don't remember which one, but then something happened. There was a jump scare kind of moment in a Disney cartoon that he jumped and then sat in my lap and held my hand for the rest of the movie.
That is so
and I'm like, oh, baby. But he was genuinely scared. And then when we watched it at home, he still was right there with me because that moment, knowing it's coming, he still didn't like it.
That is so... It's very sweet to me. I just don't know that reality because I remember my brothers making me watch, like, Nightmare on Elm Street when I was, like, 3. I remember watching it when I was, like, 8. I remember seeing Blair...
I think you're pretty desensitized.
Yeah, I saw Blair Witch Project in theater, and I was a broken human. And my friend's mom had to sit next to me, rub my back, and say, "It's okay, honey. It's not real. It's okay, honey." As I'm like...
It sticks.
Yeah, I was petrified.
I know we've talked about it many times, but that movie just cracks me up because it's like, why is anybody afraid of a pile of sticks?
Girl, because who put it there? That's why. But also, I love that it was just such brilliant marketing. It was so...
the marketing was genius.
So good. And everyone thinks these kids were dead and they show up at, like, MTV Awards and they're all...
But you died.
Wait a minute.
You were lost in the woods.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think I was
because I watched the documentary before the movie and I was all, oh.
So this is raw.
Yeah. And then I saw the movie and I'm like... I had just learned right before I saw the movie that none of it was real. And I was like... Damn, I thought this was some lost footage.
And then it would have been scarier.
Film. Yeah.
It would have been scarier if it had been real and they were like waking up and finding sticks, like bundles of sticks wrapped around. That would have scared the shit out of me.
I'm still not sure that a bundle of sticks would scare me.
All wrapped up to look like a human? That would be kind of terrifying. Someone put time and effort. Someone stacked rocks outside your tent. What?
I wouldn't be out in the woods.
No, I know.
Wouldn't be camping.
No, same.
Wouldn't be going on some nighttime adventure.
But we're putting our actress hat on. So if we were, let's say we were being adventurous, and we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to the woods, and then we're like, oh no, we have to sleep here because we lost our way. Oh, getting lost in the woods.
I'm sorry, but if I was actressing in the woods, there would be a whole crew with lights and sounds. And
I know, but you're doing improv, so there is no lights and sound.
Oh, no. I will tell you that when I was in theater classes in high school, improv was the one thing I was always terrible at.
It's cringy.
It is cringy. I don't like it.
As fuck.
And it's like, I need a script, please. Or I need to just talk about what I want to talk about because you're in San Francisco.
You're a ghost.
And you're... a bank teller, and you, whatever. I was like, so I would stand there. Can I help you?
Yeah, right. Ching, cha-ching.
Here's your
money. Yeah, right. Gow. That's so funny to me. I love that. I love things that are improvised, but I hate improv. You know?
Yeah. I don't like going to improv shows.
And we're like, call out something. What should we? A card. And then people are all, fuck you. You know? I'm like, oh, I think I heard Ronald Reagan or whatever. Like, no.
Because it sounds the same.
Yeah. Improv. I've been to one improv show and I said, never again.
Now, I did learn that Ryan Gosling.
That's where he started.
Improv'd a whole lot of the Barbie movie.
Right.
Like, a lot of his dialogue was improv.
Which is hysterical. And I love that. But that's improvising.
Yes,
and I love that.
Different.
And that new movie that just came out, Theater Camp, I told you about.
Yes.
90% of it is improvised. And it is fan-fucking-tastic. It is so good. It is so good. But you can tell a lot of it's improvised. It's just so silly. At one point, a girl gets up there. They're doing auditions. She's a child. And she says, I'm allergic to polyester. And one of the boys judging her says, ew, why?
Ew. Why do you even know that?
Yeah, it's so good. It is so funny.
That is funny.
Yeah, but doing improvised acting is great. But being in improv where your whole shtick is improv is
improv troupe.
It's ugly.
Yeah, I don't like it. Sorry if you're, if that's your shtick.
Sorry if you're like a big improv lover. Get a life.
Although, whose line is it anyway?
Different.
I used to watch that and think it was hilarious. But they're all hilarious people.
They're already funny. They were already comedians. You know what I mean? So it's different. I think going to like an amateur improv a lot of the time makes me want to set myself on fire. So...
Well, I'm glad that you don't set yourself on fire. Well, that would be very painful.
I'm trying to do the right thing for the world, and the world needs me. So I can't be a big ball of fire yet. Let's talk about one of my favorite Hispanic people.
Okay.
In all of history. Her name... is Sylvia Rivera.
I know we've actually talked about Sylvia on this pod before.
But I'm going to talk about her again.
Do please.
So Sylvia Rivera is a woman.
That makes sense.
She was a key figure in the gay liberation movement, right? So she fought for gay and trans rights, but back in, the late 60s, early 70s, it was gay rights, and we weren't talking about trans people, because fuck them. But she was a drag queen, she was a trans woman, and she just fought for essentially civil rights. And she was born in 1951 in New York City. She's Puerto Rican and Venezuelan. Okay. And she had a rough upbringing. I'm assuming being a queer person in, Hispanic households in the 50s, being an immigrant. I'm sure, there was a lot of layers. Her father left the family when she was a baby, which, okay. Oh my God. And her mom died of suicide when Rivera was just 3 years old. So she didn't really know her parents. How upsetting. She was raised by her Venezuelan grandmother, who rejected her being trans, obviously. So it's really sad. So you grow up being queer, and your parents die, and you live with your grandma, and she hates you, and you know what I mean? She hates you because you're trans, and just so much.
Yeah.
So she left home when she was 10. She was forced to.
10?
10. So she...
I can't imagine. What does a 10-year-old do?
She made her way working through the rough streets of New York.
At 10?
At 10. She faced, obviously, discrimination and violence. So she became... That's why she started to do queer work, was because she was like, I'm facing so much. And so her quote is, "We were sick and tired of being put down." So she decided things just started happening. That's when Stonewall happened and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then and her bestie, Marsha P. Johnson, both were sex workers. And they're the ones who advanced LGBTQ rights with the whole fight at Stonewall. But they started a group too for people. Back in the day, it was all transvestite. Remember?
Yes.
And so for clarification for everyone, transsexual and transgender are essentially the same thing. They're very similar. Transvestite is someone who dresses up in the other gender's clothing, usually for kicks. You know what I mean? Lots of times, cross-dressers are transvestites, people who do it for sexual gratification. That would be a transvestite. A drag queen is not a transvestite.
No.
There are layers and differences. But, so they started this thing called the Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries, or STAR. Yeah. And then, that was changed to transgender because PC. But they worked for the Gay Liberation Front. That's right, after Stonewall Riot. But I have seen clips of the beginnings of that movement and what happened after Stonewall, and Sylvia Rivera up on stage trying to say stuff. Yeah. And the queers are booing her and heckling her and being awful to her because she's a woman of color and she's trans. And that.
And she didn't fit in with the image that they wanted to portray of, all these cute white boys.
Yeah. And so when we talk about gay rights and trans rights are very different things. And it should be all-encompassing. We should fight for the rights of all people who are marginalized. But, throughout history, lots of gay people haven't super been supportive of trans people in general. And so it wasn't, and still isn't, fun all the time if you're a trans person around gay men and women. Because a lot of the time, they're bigoted as fuck. A lot of the time, they think it's, a novelty to have a trans friend. Or they'll out you. Or they'll say some comment to you. It's not what people assume. Just because you're a part of, the LGBTQ plus community that you all are aligned. No. That's inaccurate.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, Sylvia Rivera, she fought through the face of fucking discrimination in her own life, her personal life, through her community.
Yeah.
And, the ending of her life was really sad. She died in 2002, and she was houseless. She was still a sex worker. And there's, whatever documentary I was watching, it had her in it, the majority of it. And you see her, house that she's made of, tents and boxes and whatever. And towards the end of the documentary, you see, the city of New York going and, tearing it down. And she's just, outside yelling at them to, leave her house alone. And it's just, devastating.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's so sad.
It's sad that somebody who did so much for so many still ended up in that kind of situation.
Yeah, it's really heartbreaking, And she did so much, again, forefront. Her and Marsha P. Johnson, fucking forefront of gay liberation.
Yeah.
And
and I know that she was fighting all the way to the end.
All the way to the end, yes. And so, and even though she was houseless and, had poor health and whatever, she still was fighting for the rights of queer people. And I'm like, that's so big of you, and that's so, like, a beautiful thing to do. And none of them queers deserved her. You know what I mean?
No, agreed. Agreed. So, I don't have nearly that much information about the first person, but her name is Ellen Ochoa. Ellen Ochoa was the first Latina astronaut. So,
was it the 90s?
She was the first, female astronaut to go into space in 1993. The first, Hispanic astronaut. She was the first Hispanic astronaut, period.
Full stop.
Yeah. Yes, in 1993, she boarded the space shuttle Discovery for 9 days as part of her research on the ozone layer. Since then,
That's crazy.
She has spent nearly 1,000 hours in space missions and has become a notable Hispanic figure in science. Due to her significant contributions, NASA has awarded her the coveted Distinguished Service Medal.
Okay.
Up to this day, Ochoa continues to inspire women and young girls to pursue STEM, which I love. That's
Science,
awesome.
technology, engineering, and math.
Yeah.
Right. She has a quote, Ellen Ochoa, and she said, this is after she, I almost said graduated. After she's retired and talking about STEM, she said that I think we need all the best and brightest people working in science and engineering fields, and that is certainly not limited to men or white men. And I said, snaps,
Amen,
bitch.
sister.
Snaps, bitch. I love that. Who else? Oh, we should talk about Lin-Manuel Miranda. I love him.
So do I.
Adore him. Because what was the first thing I saw him in? Was it In the Heights?
That was his first big Broadway show.
Oh wait, what was the one? Didn't they make a movie? No.
They made a movie of In the Heights.
Yeah, I think that was the first thing that I ever saw. Because he's in it, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he wrote it, and he was the lead in it on Broadway, but
Okay.
he did not play the lead in the movie.
Right, okay.
I think he has just like a minor role.
Okay.
But he's also in
Hamilton.
the newer Mary Poppins with Emily Blunt.
Oh, wow. I know
He is the chimney sweep.
Oh, okay, cute.
Yeah.
Jimmy. And then he would, did he write Hamilton?
He sure did.
He wrote it, starred in it. Hamilton is so amazing. Have you've seen it?
Uh-huh.
It's brilliant. I think it's
It
so
is.
good.
I love the music. And
my God.
wrote the music, and he wrote. Well, it's all music.
Well, and when I watched it, because it's on Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
When I watched it, I was like, oh my God, I recognize so many of these actors and actresses.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And all of them are of color.
I love that they took this big chunk of white history.
Except Jonathan Groff, who plays the king, and he does such a fantastic fucking job of being that crazy-ass king of England.
Right.
What king was that?
King George.
Yeah, he was nuts.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Groff, slay the house down boots, bitch. Killed it. I was all...
I love that the only white person in the production is crazy.
The crazy monarch. Yeah, I'm about it.
But, yes, he took this huge piece of history and then cast it all with people of color.
Yeah.
And it's rap, and it's all kinds of modern music.
It's so good.
It's delightful. And some of it, though, like all Broadway shows for me, makes me just weep like a crazy person.
Yeah.
Because the story of Hamilton is actually very sad.
It is.
And the fact that his son dies in a duel and then he dies in a duel, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Whoever thought dueling was a good idea?
Well, and the whole story of, like, the woman he ends up being with and how her sister was actually in love with him and they actually liked each other. Like, devastation all around. But yeah, Lin-Manuel, I would kiss him right on the face. He's such a brilliant man.
He is.
Yup.
He is.
Who else do you want to talk about?
Who else was I going to talk about? How about the fabulous AOC?
Oh my God. Let me tell you something. I don't care about politicians. Full stop.
No.
Never will, never have. I'm not going to wear a shirt that has any politician's name. It's not a baseball team. It's not my favorite singer, right?
Right.
I don't vote for Donald Trump, and all of them wear Trump shit, right? But I love AOC. If I love anyone in politics, it's
her.
AOC. Yeah.
Well, because she's real.
She real.
One, she was the youngest person ever elected to Congress. And she was a bartender.
Yeah, girl. So she knows.
She was out in the real world. She wasn't some little rich girl
No.
who lived the sheltered life and became a politician.
Yep.
She was a real person like the rest of us who had a real job out in the community talking with people and being a part of it and struggling month to month to pay bills and all of those things. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, like I said, was the youngest person to hold office in the House of Representatives after her victory in 2018. Her strong progressive stance on the issues has led to her re-election. I knew she was re-elected in 2020. And she actively advocates for progressive policies on health, equal opportunities, and the environment.
Yep. And she's just all around such an amazing...
And she sponsored the Green New Deal package, which is all about climate change. And as we've seen, like, okay, we're here in the Pacific Northwest, where we used to have 4 full seasons.
Yeah.
And we now have kind of 2. I mean, we have hot or we have rainy.
I know. People say that. Listen, having been to places where they have real seasons, because, you know, people say, like, the Midwest has, like, winter most of the year, so no.
Yeah.
But Oregon, you know, yes, we used to have 4 very distinct seasons, and I think they blend a little more now. But I will still say, there is still...
I know.
Difference, girl. It was 100 degrees a couple weeks over the summer.
But that's just it. It was a couple weeks ago so hot that you couldn't even stand it, and now it's raining.
Yeah, well, it's fall, girl.
It's crazy. I know.
Mother Nature said, oh, it's fall.
It was like, I swear to God, it was like hot, 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 hot. Oh, it's the first day of fall? Rain.
Bitch, we're gonna piss on you. Yeah, girl. With heat everywhere. Mother Nature said, but I get, and like living other places, because living in LA and in San Francisco.
Where there are no seasons.
Where there's no fucking seasons. And San Francisco has like summer and then essentially just spring. And those are my 2 least favorite. I want you to know how my mental health and my mood shifted the moment I woke up one morning, and I was like, it's raining. It is chilly. I looked outside, it's overcast. Everything is gloomy. I'm like, oh my God, I feel so much better. But I'm like...
Right. My life is back to normal.
Yeah, because I hate it. I don't like the sun. Obviously, look at me. But I don't like the sun. I'm not that person who's going to go to the river or go drinking or go downtown or go to club. Blah, none of that shit. And I've told you this before. I equate the sun with people. And what do I like? Not people. So
not people.
Yeah.
Right. Also, in government.
Soda.
Sonia.
Soda
bread. Sonia Sotomayor.
Coca-Cola soda pop.
That's her government name. Soda pop. Wow. It's words are hard. It's early in the morning here. Sonia Sotomayor.
I love her.
Ugh.
Well, I only love her because she's like the only Hispanic person.
Latina judge on the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
She was the first and only.
Yeah.
So it's funny to me that they're like, well, she's the first, she's the only.
Yeah, what you mean?
Yeah. So yes, she was the first, but there hasn't been a second yet.
No, and most of the Supreme Court now could die in a fire, and I would not feel one way or the other.
Right. But she has advocated for the rights of Puerto Ricans, women, and children in criminal justice.
Love.
I did not know this. She's written a lot of children's books.
That is great. I didn't know that either.
Yeah. In her books, they explore themes such as feminism and self-confidence.
Hell yeah, they do.
So yay for you, Sonia.
I love that. Yeah, I was reading about her as well. I really do enjoy that. She is like the sound voice on the Supreme Court. 1 of 2 or something. How many people on the Supreme Court? 8, 9, 5, 6, 7, 8?
No.
12? Too many. Is it that?
47?
It's not that. No, now you're drinking too much. It's somewhere.
These are things we should know.
Yeah, it's like 6 to 8 or something. But they have a conservative majority currently.
Yes.
So there's like 2 or 3 of them, maybe, that are not conservatives. But she's obviously one of them,
right?
Because the conservatives are all build the wall and kill the queers.
Right. So the woman, Latina woman, who fought California school boards to have all schools desegregated.
What was her name?
Sylvia Mendez.
That's right.
She desegregated California schools and set a precedent for other cases, including Brown versus the Board of Education.
Okay.
She grew up in Southern California.
Yeah.
Puerto Rican and Mexican. And where she lived, she was not allowed to go to the same school with the other children in her neighborhood because it was an all-white school. And she was all, oh, hell no.
Oh, I'm going to burn it down with all those white children in there.
Yeah,
The next one I want to talk about is someone who Gavin and I actually talked about the other day because we were on 39th Street.
Oh, Cesar Chavez.
Yeah, Cesar Chavez. And I didn't know that this came from him because I say it all the fucking time. I knew it was a political statement.
Yes.
Si se puede. Which means, like, yes, we can. But this, they say, yes, it can be done. But, like, yes, we can, right? Yes, you can. So it's because he was a Latin labor leader. So he fought against, like, for labor rights in the 20th century because he witnessed how his parents were immigrants or migrants and worked in farming and how they were treated. So he said, but yeah, he had led how many? He led a series of nonviolent protests for farmers' rights. Part of it was the Delano grape strike and boycott, where over 17 million Americans boycotted grapes for 5 years.
Yeah,
that's
crazy,
right? Fucking insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this man just did a lot for labor rights. And let me tell you something. Because the pandemic happened in so many businesses, and I just, left Starbucks, where so many of those stores, individual stores, were unionizing. And how much I had to hear how people hated fucking unions.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say something. No, you don't. The only reason you think you hate unions is because you're ignorant. It's because you don't know enough about the labor history of the United States to understand that unions are necessary for a lot of jobs. Because children used to work and die. You know what I mean? There used to be, like, no regulations. There used for anything, right?
No.
There were no, and this is largely touted to Henry Ford, but, like, weekends and 40-hour work weeks. And, like, that was not a thing of the past until, like, labor leaders and people fought fucking back. So, don't talk about...
And on that note, children they didn't get to keep the money that they earned.
Mm-mm.
So their parents could spend all of their money, and that was perfectly fine because that child was already their possession.
Yeah. Oh, because property. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah. So don't say things like you hate unions. Just do a little more research because they're there for a reason. Yeah. And every plumber, electrician, truck driver, pick a fucking trade.
Right.
They're in a union.
Right. Dolores Huerta.
Okay,
worked alongside with Cesar Chavez.
Okay, yeah.
Was a big part of that labor movement as well. But aside from that, she also pushed for gender equality within the labor union.
Yeah, she did.
And for the rest of her life, she has tirelessly advocated for the rights of women, children, and the working poor. So, good for you, ma'am.
Well, there's this little tiny singer that no one's really ever heard of. She's kind of her name is Gloria Estefan.
Who is that?
I know. When people think of Latin music, who do they think of? Like Gloria Estefan.
Yeah.
Let's see. Has been a major Latin artist in the U.S. forever. I don't know, for a long time. Since before I was born.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
But she didn't just help get Latin music in America, but she made it like an international thing.
Yeah.
Like people then loved Latin music.
So she's Cuban.
I didn't actually...
Yeah, she and her husband, Emilio...
Okay.
Emilio Estevez, moved here from Cuba.
Okay.
And when they came here, they were not... It was like... They fled to here and they were not allowed to go back home. And their families are still in Cuba. So, and now their son... Which I think he's Emilio also, but Junior, is big music producer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. She won 3. So in her life, she won 3 Grammys. That's great, and she won the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Yeah.
Due to her impact on the Latin American music scene, she was also given a star on the Walk of Fame.
I love that.
Yeah, love her. The Rhythm Is Gonna Get You. Let me tell you, that song. Love that song.
I'm gonna say though, and this is awful. One of the queens who used to do my show would do that song, and we would always say,
"The rhythm is never
gonna get you." I don't know where the rhythm went, but it has left you high and dry, ma'am.
Rhythm is gonna get you.
I know it's terrible.
It isn't, honey. You've performed this song 20 times.
Yeah, you should think you'd.
You would think you'd be better.
I know.
So trash.
I know. But listen, there's lots and lots and lots of really influential and important and wonderful folks of Hispanic heritage that you should look up. Do a little Gurgle search. I did. I found lots of stuff.
Don't search Gurgle. That's ugly.
That's Gargle.
Gargle. Yeah, and you know what? Just like white people and black people and queer people, Hispanic and Latino people are in every industry.
Yeah.
They work every type of job. They're educated. They're migrant workers. They are fucking AOC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're musicians. They've done everything. Obviously, because humans do things not based on their race. But yeah, look it up. There's a lot of them. And if you haven't seen a lot of influential Hispanic or Latino things, do. And watch Hamilton. Support Lin-Manuel Miranda and all of the people of color who starred in it. And watch Jonathan Groff be a fucking crazy king. But yeah, I think lots of times, especially in this state, in this country, I feel like a lot of Hispanic, Latino, Chicano, Mexican people get a lot of fucking grief for being that exactly.
Absolutely.
You know, because like, where are you really from? That kind of bullshit. You're brown, so you're not from here. But yeah, do some research. Don't be an ignorant fuck. And realize that most of this country was Mexico. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm going to just toss out a couple movies.
Ooh.
Because one, if you want to expose your children.
Oh my god, go watch Selena.
Don't watch Selena. Watch that if you're older.
Watch Selena.
She's murdered in the end. It's awful.
Have you seen kids shows nowadays?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, who cares?
Well, what I was going to say is Coco. Beautiful movie from Disney.
Yeah. That movie made me weep.
Why am I blanking on the name of the newer one? That's the
Bruno?
That's the song is from there, but that's not the name of the movie. I'm totally just blanked on the name. Went right out.
I know what it's called.
But I want you to go back in time. Find this movie. It's harder to find, but it's called Strictly Ballroom.
Oh my god!
Because it's set in the ballroom scene in Australia, but one of the girls who's in the class is a Latina, and her family, who I believe is from Argentina, the lead boy, the lead white boy, who's everybody thinks is going to be the star of the whole thing. She takes to meet her family and to learn how to really dance the Spanish dances and stuff,
like
because
flamenco.
Yeah, but he's like doing it the way the white people taught him to do it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no,
you need more flavor.
No,
bitch. We're gonna season you.
Yeah, and so it's pretty fantastic.
The movie you're looking at is Encanto.
Encanto, yes. I knew it started with an E, but it literally flew right out of my brain.
Despacito. I don't know.
Right.
No. Oh, and there's also huge Hispanic Latino artists like Ricky Martin, J-Lo. You know what I mean? Like, there are tons and tons and tons.
Latino and queer.
Ew.
Yeah.
They're screaming in your face. Did you say Latino and queer?
Yeah.
Weird, I gotta go.
I know. I'm sorry.
Too much.
Are you offended?
Too much, man. I gotta go. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna call my white friends and be like, can you believe?
Well, yeah. It was like, were you talking about someone who's Latino and queer?
Yeah. Quit saying it. I'm gonna have nightmares.
All right. So listen, I hope you enjoyed us talking about Hispanic heritage. I hope maybe you learned something.
Yeah.
And I hope maybe you'll go and Google something and find out some information for yourself, because these are all some pretty amazing people.
Yeah. Spend some time this next month doing some research on Hispanic and Latino people, movies, things, artists.
And share something with someone else.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the whole point of this month.
You know what? What is it? Pay it forward. I'm all about that. Not with money. Pay your information forward.
Yeah.
Bitch. Tell people what's up.
I know for me, if I learn something that I think is cool, I like to go, oh my god, guess what I just learned?
Yeah.
And I make sure to say it that way so I'm not going, do you know what I know that you're too stupid to
Yeah.
know?
Have you ever heard of this? No, you haven't? Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, it's because you're dumb.
Dumb bitch.
No, for me, it's like, I just learned this thing that I probably should have known.
Yeah.
You know,
Same.
and now you should know because I'm going to tell you.
Right.
So, yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. I mean, specifically, I'm going to talk about one thing that's always the example that pops into my head. It's a stupid math thing that I'm sure little kids learn.
Okay.
That I learned from one of our foster boys. Is that every multiple of 9, when you add them together, equals 9.
Yeah.
I was like, what? So I'm like, 18. 1 plus 8, 9. 27. 2 plus 7, 9. I was like,
holy fucking...
What the heck?
Yeah, right.
36, 9.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it's crazy. 45, 9. And I was like...
what if you do 9 times 11? That's 99. It doesn't work.
All right, listen. Through 10.
Through 10. Copy.
Anyway, but if you enjoyed our podcast, send us a little note at... oh, God, I forgot. I actually have something I want to read. I'll save it for next week to read. Because I got a little message from your Auntie Anne. You know what? No, I'm going to read it.
All right, just kidding. We're going to read it now.
You know what? We're going to go over a lot of time.
We're not going to make her wait.
We don't have rules
I
here.
know, bitch, you said a lot of time. What, is the podcast just going to stop working?
It will. They'll, at 1 hour, they'll just shut us off and go, bitches, get out of here.
You've done enough.
You talk too much.
No one's even listening.
Y'all talk too much, which no one would disagree with. So I got an email from my cousin Anne, who I adore.
Love.
She says, "Thank y'all for being a foster." I'm assuming, because we talk about being a foster parent.
Yeah.
I laughed so many times and was a little sad at times when I realized I had no control ever. So, some of her stuff is like, whatever. Technology is moving way too fast. A lot of folks under 30 and maybe 40 don't even remember black and white TV. I had a small portable 13-inch, I believe black and white, that I watched in the kitchen when cooking. I had that thing until I was around 50, not so long ago. One day I dropped it and cracked the case, and it still worked for another 5 years. So I was sad when it quit working, losing things from childhood. Now, do you remember when we did our whole episode of what we thought was rich, and we talked about that they had a Surrey?
Yeah.
And she said, the Surrey was one of the most fun toys we ever had. It was a 2-seat pedal car with a canopy top and a sort of rumble seat in the back for one. Everyone loved that thing because it was cool and because I thought they were rich.
Yeah, rich.
When we moved from Southwest, a 1-level with a daylight basement cottage, to North Portland, a 3-story gigondo house, that's when I thought we were rich.
Yeah.
And the aluminum kids' kitchen, which we also talk about with running water, convinced me of it. The water was pumped from a container under the sink, but to a child, it was running water.
Yeah.
So I didn't know about this. This is funny. She said, I still feel bad for convincing Tracy, my sister, to try the roasted caterpillar cocoons Grandpa Louie brought us. But she wouldn't touch the chocolate-covered ants. It was dust and disgusting. It was dust.
Maybe you should
I must
proofread this before
tell you
read
that
it
some
out
of my
loud.
favorite adventures and childhood memories were at your homes. As an adult, I know that peeps and the memories we make are more rich than stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Much love and hugs to y'all. And we love you, and thank you for listening and sharing and laughing and crying with us and all the things. And being the topic of our, I think they must be rich because we were so poor.
You. So, Anne
But
is
if
the
you,
rich
like
one.
Anne, want to send us something, just send it at itwouldseemasthough@gmail.com, and we will read it. And we will talk about you, good or bad. We're going to talk about you.
And again, if you don't want us to read it, say that in the headline.
Yeah, start that.
Yeah, don't read this out loud.
Dear Loudmouths, do not read out loud.
Fine, I won't.
All right.
All right, I'm leaving.
I'm out of here.
All right, bye.
Bye.
It would seem as though